welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Scenic Route Traveler. My name is Erin and I am a travel enthusiast who has explored over 40 countries around the world, many of them solo. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about some of my solo travel tips and everything you need to know to make your journey unforgettable. So whether you're just looking to refine your travel style, or you're taking your first solo adventure, or you just need a little encouragement to take that solo trip, I've got you covered. So let's dive in. In this video, we'll talk about safety, meeting new people, handling challenges, and celebrating the unique joys of traveling solo. I'll also share some personal stories and practical advice. So stick around to the end as I answer some frequently asked questions that I get about solo travel quite often. So for this first section in my recommendations, tips for solo traveling, we're going to talk about safety first. I'm going to start with some tips that have helped me navigate the world a little more confidently and safely as a solo traveler. Number one is choose your accommodations wisely. Look for places with great reviews, secure entries, and locations in safe neighborhoods from the research that you've done about a city or location that you're going to. But also to remind yourself to trust your gut. If a place doesn't feel right, move on. There's been a time or two that I've arrived at a guest house or Airbnb and it just didn't quite feel right. So I quickly found another option. It ended up not being as big of a deal and I was able to have some peace of mind knowing that where I was staying is going to be kind of the best option for me and my safety. Number two, staying connected. This one might seem a little obvious, but it is a good reminder that having access to your phone can be a game changer on your travel adventure. And no, not just to take the perfect photo, but whether it's through a local SIM card, an international plan, or a portable Wi-Fi device, being reachable and able to navigate is key with having your phone or a device that can get you either of these things. I know for me, I always keep an emergency contact card in my bag with local emergency numbers, and I get a SIM card when I get to that country, or I pay the X amount per day that my phone plan charges me when I'm international. Number three in this section is be situationally aware. Now this one again might seem relatively obvious, but obviously when you're traveling alone and not having someone else to be able to help you keep your eye on things or keep connected to what's going on around you, it is good to always have your wits about you, especially in crowded places when you're solo traveling. Keep your valuables close and avoid looking overly distracted on your phone when you can. For me, I know in busy markets or in a city that I know has a lot of people or somewhere I'm in or at the train station or airport, I definitely keep a hand on my purse at all times. Keep aware of where my bag is at all times, that I'm not forgetting it. And this is really key to keep in mind as you're solo traveling and to keep connected with this when you're by yourself. Number four on this list, share your itinerary. Make sure someone you trust knows where you are, how to contact you. Maybe share with them what you might be doing that day or where your lodging is throughout the trip. It's just a simple way to have a little extra peace of mind on your end, but also for your loved ones back home who know that you're solo traveling. So in this next section, I want to dig into making the most of your solo trip and embracing the magic of solo traveling. First one, solo dining is a joy. Treat yourself to a great meal and soak in the atmosphere when you're solo traveling. Take a book or journal, which can help you feel a little less self-conscious at first, but honestly, you tend to quickly realize that people usually are focused on their own meals rather than worrying if you're sitting here by yourself having a meal. I know for me, some of my favorite meals have come when I have been solo traveling. My most recent trip was a solo trip to Paris, and I remember sitting down to a cafe with my book, wanting to take in the atmosphere of the Parisian cafe and do some people watching, which is always really great. And I ended up getting into a conversation with the owner when they came by, and we talked about our shared interest in photography, and they ended up recommending a dish that ended up being my favorite dish of my whole trip and probably all the places I've ever been in Paris. Number two, And this one might be difficult. I know it's something I have to remind myself of every time, but it is pack light. Trust me, traveling with a carry-on makes everything a bit easier as a solo traveler. It's one less bag to worry about and one less big bag to worry about if you're doing a checked bag. Stick to versatile clothing and don't forget essentials like reusable water bottles, first aid kits, and maybe a travel lock. I know I love packing multifunctional clothings. They could be scarves that double as a blanket or a sarong if I'm at the beach. I also have to have every shirt and pants have multiple ways of going about with each other. I am not bringing one pattern shirt that only goes with one pair of pants that I brought. We need multiple uses for this solo adventure. Now for this third one, it's something that whether you're a solo traveler or you're traveling in a huge group of people, it's something that I recommend is to learn a few key phrases of the country or location that you're going to. Even learning a simple hello or thank you can really break the ice and make a big difference in connecting with those around you. I know for me, there has been many a times that learning a few key phrases in the place that I was in helped make a new connection with someone in a cafe, whether I was going to find directions at in a market or at a train station. It helps make the experience just a little bit better. For number 4, say yes to local experiences. So whether it's a cooking class, a walking tour, or a cultural event, these activities are perfect for meeting others and gaining a deeper understanding and appreciation of the destination you're going to, and can only make your trip that much more fruitful. In this next section, I want to talk about how solo travel is not always easy, but the challenges are part of the adventure for the most part. So I want to talk about a few things that could go wrong, common hurdles, and how you can maybe deal with them. Number 1 is feeling lonely, which is very natural, by the way, when you're solo traveling. But a few ways to potentially combat this is to reach out to fellow travelers, maybe that's on social media, join group tours to meet other people that way, or just embrace those solo moments by journaling or exploring at your own pace. I know for me, I've done a few group tours in some of my solo travels and have had the best experiences and have made a few friends that way, which we still keep in touch, or if we're in the same place, we will try to get together when we can. Number 2 is navigating unfamiliar places. Now sometimes it does happen where you can't get a SIM card, your daily allowance for data is out and it's too expensive. That happens. So in lieu of that, I definitely recommend doing offline maps. They will become your best friend while you're solo traveling. I do recommend downloading them before heading out while you're still on Wi-Fi. Usually if you're on, let's say, Google Maps, you can download a whole map on your phone and you'll be able to navigate yourself around wherever you're going. That is usually an option. But also don't be afraid to ask for directions. Most people are usually happy to help. There's usually the person at the cafe or a attendant at the train station. They're more than happy to help you out if they're able to. Number 3 is handling setbacks, which usually do happen on any trip, whether you're solo or not. But when plans change unexpectedly, try to see it as an opportunity for a new adventure. Some of my favorite memories have come from the unplanned detours that have taken me on the scenic route of places. Now, so it does happen, but it's just good to stay calm and remember that these things happen and to find maybe a plan B, C, or D. Let's do a lightning round of some of the most frequently asked questions that I get as a solo traveler. Number 1, is it safe to travel solo at night? It honestly depends on the area, and I would also recommend researching your destination and knowing what areas to go and not go, but also to stick to well-lit and busy streets, and I do try to avoid the late nights in unfamiliar places when I can. Number 2, how do you handle cultural differences? This, again, is making sure you do your research beforehand. I know respecting local customs like dress codes or greetings does go a long way in making your experience a little bit more positive. Number 3, what's the best way to meet people? I know for me, in my experience as a solo traveler staying at hostels, I've done plenty of group tours or gone to local events that are fantastic ways of making connections. And I've met some really good friends this way, and we still keep in touch. But I also should note that some hostels, even if you're not staying at them, will host events that are open to everyone, which is a really great way to meet other like-minded travelers or people your own age. But also, again, I've done plenty of group tours where you go solo and you end up meeting other really great people on these group tours as well. Now let's talk about the unique joys of solo traveling, and let's celebrate what makes solo traveling so rewarding. Number 1, freedom to choose. Every day is yours to plan. You want to sleep in? You want to change your itinerary? You want to stay an extra few days somewhere? Go for it. Number 2, growing your confidence. Overcoming small challenges or traveling around an entire country or environment by yourself will make you feel unstoppable. And number 3, building connections. From deep conversations with locals or spontaneous adventures with fellow travelers, solo travel fosters unforgettable bonds. So there you have it, my top tips for solo travel. And it's not just about seeing the world, it's about discovering yourself along the way, as cheesy as that sounds, I know. But if you've been hesitating to take your first solo trip, consider this your sign to go for it. And again, these are just my personal experiences and tips and tricks that have helped me along the way, but feel free to leave your comments below for other solo travelers or for others wanting to take the plunge into solo traveling. And thanks for watching, and happy travels.